Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023, and I am in between my classes today and wanted to get back to doing a couple of these inspirational messages, whatever you want to call them. I've been doing a lot of reading lately. I've been reading a book by Brene Brown on shame. I'm still finishing the book, The Altar Within by Juliet Diaz. And I've been reading from this daily Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates. And so it's bringing me back into full circle of when I first started my yoga teacher training. And there's so much information to absorb that there's no way you can absorb it all in 200 hours. And so as a teacher, it's our duty to keep studying lifelong the practice and how it affects our daily lives. And so lately, what's been coming to me is how we view the world. And so I went back to my teacher training Bible and I reflected on this concept that we have this internal gaze that's considered a light for all intents and purposes. And from that light, we look up and out into the world. In between us and the world, there's a pane of glass that acts as a filter or a holding space. And that holding space collects residue from all the experiences that we've moved through in our lifetime. And so if you can imagine a window or a mirror and you're looking into it and you open your mouth and blow, it'll fog up. What comes through the breath is the residue from the experiences that we've moved through in our lifetime. And so when we are looking out into the real world, it is often clouded, foggy, not truthful, because it's distorted based on previous experiences that we've gone through in our lifetime. So unless we show up and do the work to wipe away and clean and find our way back to that inner gaze, spirit, love, or truth, we are going to continually repeat patterns within ourselves and kind of judge the outside world for the way it is in its existence, all based on our previous experiences. And so the way, how do we clear it up? How do we wipe the slate clean? The practice of yoga is one of them. I had referenced back in my notes that we don't practice, well, some of us practice to be able to touch our toes. Yes, that is part of yoga, right? It is an exercise. But at the root of it, it's this beautifully spiritually based rhythm that we find this connection to our higher power, where as we are energetically shifting the body, moving and breathing, we are releasing and surrendering and letting go of control and becoming woke in the body. And then the mind, why would it bother somebody that they can't balance in tree pose or airplane or whatever it is? If you were to ask them the question, when you step off of your mat, do you find that life is unbalanced for you? Do you take enough time for self-care? Do you have a good work-life balance? And a lot of people will say, no, I don't. And so that's how we apply what we physically become aware of on the mat to off the mat. And it becomes layer after layer after layer after layer. And so when we have the willingness to show up on our mat, and I do believe that we are divinely delivered to yoga because of how internally the struggle between spirit and the ego is pushing and pulling, the higher power says, time out. Here's the place to go to mediate the difference between the two. And so we find our way to a yoga mat. And we practice, yes, for the exercise, but we practice more to unravel. We practice more to let go of control. We practice more to find self-confidence and self-worth. We practice to allow our triggers to actually surface within ourselves, to lean into that discomfort and to say, can I let that go? Can I surrender to the idea that life is truthfully how it is in front of me in the moment and still be unwavered by it? The extra layer that I added to that today in class that came to me was Samadhi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It might not be. But it's this state of bliss where most of us, it's my understanding, don't even find it until moments before we pass. And it is the path of a bodhisattva, right? The warrior. I think it's sattva, it might be cheetah, whatever it is that Pema Chodron references. That pathway is practicing the allowance and acceptance of our triggers to rise, to be unwavered by them, to surrender to them, and to wipe the slate clean and let them go so that we can see truthfully out into the world without judgment. And it's a lifelong practice. That's why they say, any one particular asana or posture in the practice of yoga could take you your entire lifetime to master, because you're not mastering it. You are finding your way in the body. I don't want to negate that fact, but you are mastering the mind on that journey from beginning to this is the way the posture is meant to be displayed in the body. And so as I tackle some triggers that I've been having lately and find myself reading about shame and find myself reading about self-love and self-care and being able to use my voice and standing in my truth, this is all being divinely delivered by my higher power because of the experiences that I'm going through right now. And my higher power is saying, Michelle, grab the rag, put it up to the pain, wipe it clean, and see things exactly as they are right now. Be unwavered by them. Walk through life with your head held high and integrity and with bliss, no matter what is going on. And that's practice. That is practice. We have to practice it. And so I'm reminding myself today, and I sat in my meditation spot this morning and said, Michelle, you have to choose today to show up in a way that you don't want to. Because it's easy to sit in fear and it's easy to sit in tears and anxiety. But I don't want to sit in those places anymore. I want to sit in a space where I can firmly root my feet and stand tall and confident that I am the woman that I am amazing, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am resilient, and I am going to be unwavered by situations that could potentially take me down. So that's where I'm at this afternoon. We all want to experience bliss, and we all want a lifetime of moving through experiences with ease and grace and being unwavered. But it is a practice. Life is a practice. The exercise, asana, is a practice. And we marry the two, and we come forth on our mat, and we surrender, and we let go, and we trust the process. And that's how we wipe the slate clean. that's my little ramble for today. Kind of short, 10 minutes. Short for me because I like to blob it all out there. But thanks for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.